Shiva
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sutra-50. Inquire into the ultimate truth. Sarvataha sarva sharirasya dvadashante manolayat dhridabuddher dhridibhutam tattvalakshanam pravartate. Let the mind reach the state of laya in dvadashanta. Let the sadhaka remain in the awareness. With practice and unbroken awareness, the state of Bhairava is realized. Sutras 50 and 51 should be studied together. The sutras are about Nididhyasana sadhana. Nididhyasanam is about the mind continuously dwelling on the Atman, the consciousness. I am not different from the Atman. I am that. For Nididhyasana, Paravairagyam is important. The buddhi has reached a state of laya in its source, the Karana Avyakta Rupam. The sutra says, Manolayat Dhridabuddhehe. The awareness is steady in the Atman. The state of the mind is Ananda. Ananda becomes the Anubhava. The sadhaka should go beyond the Anubhava. For this, one requires Vairagyam. This is Paravairagyam. Very often, we use the words finite and infinite. The world that we experience is dynamic. The dynamic world is full of limitations. All experiences come and go and do not stay with us forever. Every experience is limited. The limitations represents the finite nature of the world. The finite cannot exist independently by itself. The finite is part of the infinite. In our lives, we tend to seek the finite and reject the infinite. It is not only about the finite or infinite, but also about recognizing the wholeness of existence. We call this wholeness as awareness, consciousness, etc. The Shastram calls it as Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. This awareness is present everywhere, but its expression is individual or limited. For example, the water in the ocean expresses itself as waves. The waves are individual and limited. The water is present in every wave and at the same time it remains independent of the waves. But the waves don't have independent existence outside the water. The waves are born out of the water, they exist in the water and perish in the water. Similarly, our life experiences appear like waves from the universal consciousness. The consciousness expresses itself as individual experiences and every experience is limited by nature. The experiences are born out of the consciousness, they exist in the consciousness and perish in the consciousness. The experiences don't have independent existence outside the consciousness. In every experience, there is consciousness. This sutra is telling us to recognize the presence of consciousness in our experiences. Our experiences constitute our world. Our world is limited or finite. The finite world appears like waves in the infinite consciousness. Look at the sun. There is only one sun that is shining above our head. If there are 1000 mirrors reflecting the sun, you will see 1000 individual suns, one sun in every mirror. This cannot be the truth. The sun is always one. The reflections in the mirror are many. It gives an illusion that it appears as many. The many is finite and limited, whereas the sun is infinite and unlimited. The reality is one single truth that cannot be divided. As humans, we are complete and are part of the whole, but we think we are separate from the whole. There seems to be a divide, and we strongly believe that we are individuals and everything else is separate from us. We strongly believe that I am the individual is separate from the Jagat. I, the individual, is separate from Īśvara. But this cannot alter the reality. The reality is one. We call it awareness or consciousness or Bhairava in the context of Vijñāna-Bhairava-Tantra. It is the very center of every experience. It is the center of every individual. It is the Atma of the world. This sutra says that when the mind is steadily fixed on this awareness, Dridibhutam, which is the very center of our experiences and our world, the sadhaka is absorbed in the awareness. The sadhaka sees consciousness alone when he sees the world. In this wisdom, the world disappears for the sadhaka. In Dridibhutam, Drida is firmly fixing the mind on the awareness, and Bhutam is our world and experiences. The world can never be the ultimate truth. It is a mere appearance of the universal consciousness. This appearance is Vimarsha, which is reflected consciousness. Vimarsha is Bhairavi. Bhairavi is inseparable from Bhairava. Because of our ignorance, Bhairavi appears as separate from Bhairava. The waves appear as separate from the water. This is an illusion, isn't it? The ultimate reality is always one. Bhairava and Bhairavi are always in union. The universe is not separate from the consciousness. It looks separate because of our ignorance. The sutra says, Dridabuddher Dridibhutam Tattvalakshanam Pravartate. Dridabuddhehe. Let the mind rest firmly on this awareness. Dridibhutam. Let the mind see the consciousness alone in the creation and in the experiences. The essential nature of the creation is consciousness alone. This is said as Tattva Lakshanam in the sutra. Tattva is the universal truth. In the context of the creation, it is about the building blocks of creation. What is the creation made of? The Sankhya Darshana mentions the creation as 25 tattvas, and Shiva mentions 36 tattvas. The creation appeared from the Supreme like how waves appear from the water. Everything that we experience based on our karmendriyams and jnanendriyams are made of tattvas. Our body and mind are made of tattvas that appeared from the panchabhutas. The Shakti or Bhairavi is the source of tattvas. In the source, Bhairavi and Bhairava are always in union. When we move away from the source, it is pravritti, and when we move towards the source, it is nivritti. Due to ignorance, we forget the source and chase the uncertain world. We are essentially chasing samsara. When we move in the opposite direction towards the source and away from samsara, it is liberation. In Sutra 32 Shunya Panchakam, we discussed how the creation unfolds. You can listen to the sutra again if you want clarity. I am not elaborating how the creation happens as per the Shastra in this sutra. From this sutra point of view, understand that the creation unfolds from the source as tattvas. The essential nature of the tattvas is consciousness. This is said as Tattva Lakshanam. This sutra is saying that recognize the consciousness in your own self. The creation or the tattvas are in you and not outside you. It looks as though the creation is outside you. this is the play of Maya. You are the whole. How can there be anything outside the whole? Sarvataha sva sharirasya. The creation is in you. The source is in you. The source is the Atman. Let the mind rest in the Atman. Dvadashante manolayat. This is the state of Samadhi. Manolaya is the state where the vikalpas in the mind have disappeared. The mind is in the state of Laya in Dvadashante. The mind in the state of Laya does not mean liberation. The mind is in the state of Prakriti Laya. Some call it as Yoga Nidra. Let us understand Dvadashanta in the context of this sutra. Dvadasha is 12 and Anta means end. Dvadashanta is end of 12. This means going beyond the 12. We had earlier discussed Dvadashanta in Sutra 24 and 28 as Bahya Dvadashanta and Anta Dvadashanta. These 2 points were to do with the breath. In this sutra, Dvadashanta is the point of Vyapini. Vyapini is the 12th center. We discussed the 12 centers in Sutra 30. In case you don't remember, you must listen to Sutra 30 again. The 12 centers are Janmarga, Mooladhara, Khanda, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Thalu, Agnya or Bhrumadhya, Lalata, Brahmarandra, which is Sahasrara, Shakti and Vyapini. The Kundalini ascends through these centers. Each stage unfolds an experience for the sadhaka. Each layer corresponds to a layer in the creation. Each layer is a tattva. When the sadhaka transcends each stage, it is increased state of awareness. At the stage of Vyapini, there is no duality. There is no experience. At this stage, the sadhaka becomes one with Prakriti. This is Prakriti Laya. The Shastra says Prakriti Laya means there is no rebirth until the next Pralaya. Prakriti Laya is not liberation, since rebirth is bound to happen. Liberation will happen only when ignorance disappears. Manolaya mentioned in the sutra is not permanent. Manolaya is a dharana. In Manolaya, the mind is sleeping only to wake up at some point in time. It could be in the next 1 hour, or the mind will wake up in the next 1000 years. Manolaya is not the solution. In Manolaya, the sadhaka is in the state of Ananda. This Ananda is Anubhava. The sadhaka needs Paravairagyam to go beyond the Anubhava. Manolaya must lead to Manonasha. The ignorance will be destroyed at this stage alone. For Manonasha, the sadhaka must continuously stay in the awareness. Inquiry into the truth, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is the solution. For the ignorance to disappear, the inquiry must be deep. The sadhaka must continuously dwell in the awareness and not stop at Prakriti Laya. The deep question about who am I, who is the experiencer, should continue to remain. By grace of the Guru, a stage will be reached when the experiencer disappears. The experience disappears. Pure awareness alone is. This is the state of Bhairava. This is when the Bhairava consciousness is realized. Sarvataha sarva sharirasya dvadashante manolayat dridabuddher dridibhutam tattvalakshanam pravartate. Let the mind reach the state of Laya in Dvadashanta. Let the sadhaka remain in the awareness. With practice and unbroken awareness, the state of Bhairava is realized. If you want to practice the dharana mentioned in the sutra, you can follow the guidance given in Sutra 30.